Hey, welcome back. I'm Andrea and today is going to be a little bit of a different video. If you've seen some of my past videos, I've talked a little bit about my goal for 2024, and that was to paint at least one painting every month of the year. For some context, I am 23 and I've been painting since 2021. In 2023, I only painted like a handful of paintings, like 5 or 6. And 2 of those were like master copies of somebody else's work. But I didn't have my own body of work. Like that really, I felt, showcased my skills and like even my taste in art and stuff like that. So over this video, going through all of my work, which is right over here, I'm gonna kind of talk about what I've learned throughout, a little bit throughout like my art career in general over the last 5 years, or 4 years. 4 years. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've learned or what my mindset was before last year and how each piece and each month kind of steadily, I don't know, broadened my kind of mindset and how I think about art and my own art and abstract art and art. So I haven't even seen many of these in a long time. Here's the first stack. Here's a little stack. These are like little gifts. I love these. But I haven't seen these in a long time because I moved back in November. So I'm gonna be kind of going through them and re-seeing them for the first time. So this should be cool for me. So I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys are ready to see every painting I made last year. It's insane. I think I made 13 pieces. You need to stop. This one is pomegranate seeds. I made this one in January. This is already quite a pivotal moment for me and how I kind of thought about how I paint and my inspiration behind painting. I would still call this a kind of color study, but before this I was doing like strictly just playing around with color. A lot of my work was just circles and just mixing a ton of different shades of like one color and then having some accent colors and blah blah blah. But this piece was the first time I thought of my work being more of conceptual. I still like this piece, but it wasn't exactly doing what I was trying to do with that concept, but this was definitely the beginning of that. Okay. This one is night swim. No, it's not. It's day swim. This was definitely my first time really stepping out of my comfort zone. This was the first time I actually accurately kind of took the concept in my head and for my inspo, and I would say almost 100% did what I was trying to do. This is a depiction of like a tiled pool. I believe it's in Mexico. I love design. I really love tiles, and you'll see that as I go on, as my work from last year kind of progresses. Tiles had always been kind of on my inspiration board, but I never understood how I was going to kind of put that into my work. Like I said before this, I was really only looking at colors and really boxed myself in with these kind of color swatch kind of paintings that I was doing. So I would say this was my first accurate attempt at doing something like that. Yay. Okay, this one's night swim. I definitely think that this is one of my best pieces by far. It was my favorite for a long time. This was definitely my first piece that I was super proud of. It was very different from all of my other work aside from this one, obviously. As you can see, these were definitely made to be companion pieces. The main difference between night swim and day swim is day swim, although I still really like that piece now, I didn't like it when I first made it, and it was because I didn't break up the pattern, so the kind of illusion gets a little lost, especially in like certain lightings and stuff like that. It's hard to differentiate what I was kind of trying to do there, in my opinion. But I inverted the step in it, so there's 3 layers, and the second layer I inverted the pattern so it would break up the pattern a little bit, and you could see kind of the different shades and everything that I was kind of doing in there. There actually was 2 other pieces that I did in March, and it was 2 kind of experiments, but it's inspired by this kind of waffle quilt texture. They are not that bad, but they definitely look like a 5th grader's like room circa like 2008. So definitely not what I was going for. But this is the next one. This is Daisy Quilt. I don't, you could probably tell this one isn't necessarily my favorite. This is another one where I was messing around with this concept of a depiction of a quilt. I definitely think I kind of did it a little bit, but something that I was learning here and in the next piece is that painting like just white, plain white, wasn't doing exactly what I thought it was doing. Yes, yes, we know her, we love her. This is Rose Garden. I have a video of when I was painting this back in June, and this sent me into an art slump. This one was inspired by glass. I definitely tried to do something with this. I wanted to paint the reflections and I couldn't do it. Okay, that was not for me. 100% no. And I was really pissed off at this painting for a very long time. But it's actually really beautiful. A fun story about this was I had hung this up in my old room before we had moved. I was looking at it from the side, like, you know, I was on another end of the room. Don't make fun of me. It kind of looks a little bit like the Mona Lisa. You can kind of see her figure in it. When I saw that, I had issues with self-esteem and insecurity and, you know, just not as confident. So when I saw that, I don't know, it was kind of like a sign. I do think that this is one of my better pieces that really showcases my ability to color mix a broad amount of colors. There's about, I think 30 to 35 shades of green in this. So yeah. This one is not wrapped because it is not a completed piece. But this is when I was definitely hitting an art block and I revisited the pool ideas. But what I did with this painting was a little different. So beforehand, when I was doing tiles, I was doing the tiles right next to each other, but I really wanted to find a way to emulate the grout in between tiles to have that little bit of a gap. And that is when I found 1/16 inch tape, I believe, and that's when shit started to get fun. Yeah, I still work with 1/16 inch tape. It's very tedious, but this type of tile and grout, it switched things up for me. I wouldn't say that this piece is what kind of started my new era of paintings and concepts and stuff like that, but this was definitely gearing me up. It's one of the only reasons I don't regret painting that piece. It's because I learned something from that piece that guided me to my next pieces. We are now in the month of September, and this was the first piece. Now this was more of an experiment, kind of coming off of Painting of July. So this is Flower Bunch. This was inspired by cross stitch patterns. I do have a video of the month of September and me kind of working on some of the pieces that I did that month, but this was really fun because I didn't put a lot of thought into it. I just kind of did something that I thought would be pretty. This is when I really started to play around with the concepts of my paintings, and the concepts that I had thought about for like years started to come back to me, and I was able to finally paint them in a way that I never thought I would be able to. Alright, here it is. Oh, I love this piece. This is Ikebana 1. It's just one of my favorites. And this is one of the pieces where I feel like I executed a little bit of neutrality. This is something that I was trying to do that with and it just didn't work. So I did some off-whites and that type of thing, and it's supposed to emulate a little bit of like stone and like the varied texture or the varied colors of stone. It's kind of leaning into mosaic tiles and also a little bit of a pixel type of thing. But yeah, fun fact about that painting is the canvas that it's painted on is all the way from when I lived in Baltimore in I think 2023, and I was still trying to do one of my circle paintings and it just wasn't working out, and so I kept the canvas, and I love that I can look back on kind of one era of myself and now see like that. This is when I really truly started to not take myself seriously, but I could see my work kind of reflect how serious I was about it, if that makes sense. I don't know. I would look at my older work and be like it's good, but it's not like unique. It doesn't scream me. And this, like I said, this is really when it switched for me. Actually, around this time, I had someone in my life visit, and they had said like, oh, I wish I could stay at home and paint squares all day. And I was like, man, like I know that not everyone is going to get my work, and I'm 100% okay with that, but it stings, you know. But I didn't internalize that at the time, you know. I definitely felt the sting, like I said, but it didn't waver me, or I didn't waver, which I was really proud of myself. And that's when I really knew that, you know, I had changed as a person as a result of, you know, all of my practice and patience. So I went ahead and unwrapped these already because my camera is overheating and dying. So let's try and get through this. These are also made in September. This was my first time doing miniatures of my paintings. So Ikebana 1 over there. These are miniatures of kind of her. I really like doing those because it gave me an excuse to kind of just do something fun, and you know, I had extra paint anyway. These are also ones that I can very easily do prints of. I definitely want to explore that in the future. So for the next one, this is now October. You may notice that this is the last painting, and that's because November I moved, and December I was depressed. So this is Sunflower. This was really cool because I changed the background of the grout, and I don't know, I really like this one. It feels very like vintagey. November and December I did not have paintings for those months. I don't count that as a failure because I didn't know it at the time, but I really did accomplish my goal for the year. It started out as, you know, 1 painting a month, and I think that's definitely a goal that is a little bit more attainable. But like, looking back at everything that I achieved and all the progress I made, I was okay with that. But I don't know, I really recommend doing this to anyone who hasn't. It's obviously easier said than done. I had the time and the resources to be able to do it, but make a goal that works for you, you know, and your time and your schedule. But overall, I'm very proud of myself, and I really hope that everyone who watched this was able to take something from it. I know it's going to be really lovely for me to watch back in a few years and really see, you know, how I continue to grow as an artist. But I hope you like this video, and I hope you stick around, and I will see you in the next one.